Welcome to the Addicted to Plastic podcast number 2. Hello and welcome to the second podcast for Addicted to Plastic. We are a podcast about Blythe dolls. And on today's episode, we are going to have, drumroll, Yatabazah. It's very exciting. We are excited, very, very excited. Yatabazah is a restorer and customizer of Blythe dolls, and he hails from Greece. He is also one half of the Hey Little Girl duo who do wonderful things with Blythe dolls. So we're really looking forward to talking to him, and hopefully this will be one of the first of many celebrity Blythe interviews. Blythe royalty, if you like. He joined me last night for an interview live via Skype across the internet via the wonders of modern technology. We had a wonderful chat. It went for a really long time, about an hour and a half, and we spoke about heaps and heaps of things. The exciting moment everyone's been waiting for has arrived. Here's Yatabazah. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello.
First of all, why do you also call yourself Yatabazah? Is that something in Greek, or is that?
Yeah, it is sort of. It's a phrase in Greek which goes like Yatabazah, which means the very worst. Which means, the pits. And I thought it was, and I spelled it like what I thought would look like a Japanese word or something, Yatabazah.
It's true,
or something. Yeah. And it sort of stuck with me. I never really intended for it to be like a permanent internet handle, ID, whatever you call it. But it sort of stuck with me the last 6 years. So there it is.
Cool. Okay. Because I noticed on Hey Little Girl, you've got a lot of English, as in.
English, yeah. Yeah. We love English with Leonidas, my partner in Hey Little Girl.
Your partner in crime.
Yeah. He's at the flea market right now, actually, looking for counters.
Is he?
Yeah, it's a Sunday morning, so it's flea market morning.
Awesome. That's my dream, to find a canner at it's sort of a second-hand shop or a market or something, but it's yet to happen.
Well, it will be easier for you living in Australia than for us Greeks here, because who was it that put out the Blythes in Australia?
Totoys.
What was the name of the company? Yeah, that's right. So you have a much better chance that we do, because nobody brought them here in the 70s.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we're just hoping for like an immigrant's child or something, or somebody bringing a canner for somebody's birthday from abroad or something, and ending up in in the flea market for us to discover. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened the last 5 years that I've been looking. So I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay, well, first of all, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and your love of Blythes?
All right. Well, I'm Thanos. I'm 31. I'm an actor. That's my profession. It's my job. I do theater and films here in Greece, and I've been collecting dolls for the last 5 years. I started with World of Love dolls. I had one for years that I had picked up in New York at a flea market there. I just randomly happened to pass by a flea market, and I found this doll, and I picked it up and I bought it, and I never knew what line she was from. And one day I just got interested in finding out more about her, and I looked her up on the internet, and I discovered that she was a World of Love doll, and I started collecting those for a few months, and that led me to eBay and to all sorts of other kinds of dolls. And then I started sort of discovering dolls, really, because I wasn't collecting anything before that. I wasn't into dolls at all. I loved them always. But I thought they were pretty um, and mysterious and weird and wonderful. But I never was really interested in collecting them. So once I found eBay, I discovered dolls, and then through I don't know how I went to a couple of Japanese websites, and I saw Blythe, Kenner Blythe, and I thought they were really strange, and I wasn't smitten with them from the get-go. But after a couple of months of looking at them on Japanese websites, I was, really interested in getting one, and I thought that maybe I'd get a Neo Blythe, and I got an Aztec back when she first came out, and then I only wanted to have one Blythe, so I just kept this Aztec Blythe, my first Blythe. She's called Bryce, and I just had one Blythe for a year, and I really tried to resist getting another one because I really wanted to. Because she really became, like a companion, and I really wanted to be monogamous, with her. But I couldn't resist, and after after a year and a half, I got my first Kenner, and then it went downhill from then onwards as far as the monogamy, and then I started getting more and more Kenners, and I didn't really get another Takara Blythe again. I just got Kenners, and then I've been sort of adopting them and letting them go regularly for the last few years. Just as soon as I realize whether or not I bond with them. I mean, I feel like they're almost like real people.
Yeah.
They're like living creatures. So I cannot just have a Kenner lying about if I'm not if I'm not involved with her in some way. So as soon as I only have very few Blythes left. I have like 1, 2, 3 Kenners and 3 Neo Blythes and the prototype. So I only have 7 right now.
But the prototype.
Yeah, the prototype.
You have to tell me how you found that. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, sure. My friend Tess Barton, you surely know her from the Blythe forums. She's, do you know Bon Blythe?
Yes, yeah.
Right, so that's Tess.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been friends forever, and we've been really fascinated by the Blythe history and how Blythe came about and whatever happened to those weird Blythe prototypes in the ads, and whatever happened to those dolls, and why were those dolls so different to the production dolls, and we were always interested in that. And one day I came upon a really weird Blythe Kenner auction on eBay, and she looked really strange. Like she had really dark skin and straight eyelashes. They were not bendy. They looked she looked really weird, and funny mold marks along her body. Like the seams were really funny, really strange, and the seller was apparently somebody who was dealing in Kenner prototypes, but not really Kenner doll prototypes, just action figures and stuff.
Right.
And anyway, I alerted Tess, and we went through the photographs, and we thought that she was really strange, that she was apparently something not normal. She wasn't a regular doll, and so we bought her, and then the seller informed us that they had more such dolls, and then we got what is now known as, like, Tess owns them, and they are production no, pre-production or something dolls. Um, they are between. I mean, it's a stage between. They were between the prototypes and the dolls getting packaged and marketed. So it's a weird stage between. It's like a production prototype sort of doll.
Right.
And then that seller, after a few months, contacted us about blocks, and that she had a Blythe Kenner prototype,
Wow.
and that was a real prototype. And she's a handmade resin prototype, and you must have seen the photographs of Hey Little Girl, and she's really weird, and she has a skipper body. Um, just a regular skipper body.
Yep.
And her head is handmade, and the scalp is just a different mold scalp with normal rooted hair, and she just carries it on her head with two-sided tape.
That's really
Yeah,
amazing.
and she didn't cost that much actually, and she wasn't that expensive. I mean, she was only about a couple of $1,000. So,
Wow.
I mean, normally I would have paid 10 times as much for a Cadillac prototype. I would have sold my soul to the devil.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people may actually kill and draw blood for that prototype.
Really?
No. Well,
I hope they won't.
It is interesting, isn't it? Like the different skin tone on her. She's quite dark, really.
Yeah, she's actually white, and she's painted.
Right.
Yeah, and she's not as dark as photographs depict her. She's definitely darker than regular Blythes. I mean, she's not pink. She's not, bone white. She's a very healthy complexion.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of Bridget Bardot, that kind of tanned blonde with the pale lips kind of look.
The pale lips, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they were going for. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Supposedly there was a black Blythe in the works.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and from what I found out through, we came upon some production sheets on eBay. We didn't actually buy them. They were because they had really nice scans of them. So why bother paying for them? They had all the information. So, I mean, Tess and I. That was before Hey Little Girl. So there was this production sheet, and there were 5 or 4 different Blythe dolls mentioned. They all had different names. All right, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
One was to be called Blythe. Another was Caress. What a tacky name. And oops. We have a problem. Okay. And another was Willow and Sky.
Ah.
So the Blythe one, the one that was going to be called Blythe, had brown hair and brown eyes, and wearing the Golden Goddess
Right.
costume. The Caress one was to be black hair and purple eyes. Another one was Willow, red hair, green eyes, and Sky in this production sheet is to be blonde with blue eyes. But I have this. There's this other information that implies that she was going to be the black one. Anyway.
Oh, really? That's really amazing.
And that sort of that production sheet sort of depicts like 4 dolls with a no-changing eye mechanism. That's I think Blythe was to have brown eyes, Caress purple, Willow to have green, and Sky was to have blue. So it's a strange production sheet that sort of depicts a non-changing eyes doll. Really. So I don't know why, but there you go.
Maybe they thought if they couldn't do the eye mechanism, it was kind of like a second version or something.
Yeah, well, it's dated 90s. It dated a 1971 May. No,
Oh.
I forget what it is. But anyway, it's just a year before she came out. So
Right. Wow, that's really
who
amazing.
knows? Yeah. That production sheet should be in the some information on prototypes at changeableblythe.com.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great site. I love that site.
Thanks.
It's got so much information in it. It's just great because you can look up all the, it's got pictures of all the original versions of the Kenners and all the clothes and the wigs and everything else, and even, I mean, it was cool because I found out via your site, I think, that Tall Toys made them here, because that became like my quest in life to find a Tall Toys Kenner, because I wanted an Australian Kenner.
Yeah.
And I have one now, so I'm very excited. So
You have an Australian one?
yeah, I have a Tall Toys one.
How do you know that? How do you know that she's?
Because she was still in the box, in the Tall Toys
Oh,
box.
she was.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I know.
What color?
She's
what color hair?
blonde.
Oh, super.
So she's called Miss Polly, and she's got a bit of a
So
dodge.
she's out of the box.
Well, I've taken her out of the box, but I haven't taken the pin out of her hair at the back yet. It's still in the plait. So
Oh, you should. You should give
I
her a hair
know.
wash.
I should.
She has to be a play doll.
I know. Well,
You
that's
know.
what I thought. I mean, people. It's sort of the debate, isn't it? Like, if you get a doll and it's in the box, what do you do? But I mean, for me,
That is a debate. I mean, even for a doll that it's out of box, some people are intimidated by Kenners in terms of their value, or they think they're fragile. I mean, new Blythes are much more fragile than Kenner Blythes any day.
right? That's really interesting because I mean, for me, I've customized the Takaras, but I've got two Kenners, but I haven't really touched them since I've got them. In terms of, like, I've got one called Jilly, and she's really green.
Green
Yeah, she's really green, and she
in the
needs.
face.
Yeah, and her eyeballs
Green?
are
I've
really
never-
green. Hmm.
I've never heard of that before. I've seen yellow and orange, but never green.
Well, it's probably is yellow, but I just call it green.
No, it's very unhealthy.
She's had a big night, Dilly. She had a big night about 30 years ago.
Oh my god. Maybe hundreds of nights, 30 years long.
Maybe. Yeah, and someone.
You should have her fixed and play with her. I mean,
I know. Well, she might come and visit
they're just
you.
dolls.
Yeah, she might have to come and visit you, I think.
Oh, would love to have her.
Because that's the other thing. Looking at the Hey Little Girl site, and all the Kenner restorations are just absolutely amazing, amazing. Because I love, and you do the styling, is that right? The hair styling.
Oh, I just do the hair, and Leonidas does the sanding and the buffing and the repairing and stuff. I just do the defrizz.
Yeah.
I just do the hair.
Yeah, because I love
Mostly.
I do love the hairstyles because
Yeah, I love them too. I love doll hair.
they're so kitschy. Like, is it Mirka? Is that right? Am I saying that right? Or Mirka?
Mirka, yeah, what was one of the first ones? Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fringe that's in the flip. It's
Oh,
so
I see the
cute.
bangs.
Yeah, we call them a fringe here. So.
Oh, yeah, the fringe, yeah. Actually, as far as Mirka is concerned, I would love to do her again because she was one of my very first ones, and I've sort of developed my defrizz technique since then, and I think she got the short end of the stick.
Well, she looks pretty good to me.
Well, if you see her now on Flickr, she doesn't look that sleek. She's gone back to being a bit frizzy, I think. I'm sorry about that.
Well, because I mean that's a really interesting thing is the defrizzing, because I mean so many people have Kenners and their hair is just that kind of crazy, rat's nest of frizz,
Well, apparently, my theory is that Kenner used hair that's prone to frizz on most of their dolls.
Oh.
I mean, I have a few Kenner dolls. I have a Dusty, which was an athletic type of sports doll, Dusty, Dusty. You should look her up. She's amazing. And then there's she's very prone to frizz, extremely frizzy hair doll. And then there are the Bionic Woman dolls, Lindsay Wagner dolls, extremely frizzy kind of dolls. So, and they're from about the same era. So I think they had a bad supplier of doll hair.
Maybe they wanted all the dolls' hair to go frizzy, so that the little girls would say, "Hey, this doll's rubbish."
I want a new one.
Yeah, my doll's rubbish.
That's evil. I hope they didn't.
That's just
Actually,
me.
I like Kenner hair because it's matte. It's not shiny. I don't really like shiny hair fiber on dolls, so I'm really partial to matte kind of matte types of hair, doll hair. So I really like Kenner hair.
Is there any have you come across anything that's similar to Kenner hair that in the modern? Because I mean, I've only really seen, is it Saran kind of synthetic hair, but
No, I haven't really. But just on actually, Tess has come across has come upon I think it wasn't a wig. I think it was hair for extensions.
right?
It's she came across a hair type that it's a bit similar to Kenner hair, only it doesn't reflect the light the same way. It's sort of greener, so it doesn't really work for filling in missing plugs on blonde Kenners and stuff. But no, I'm not really into new toys, into new dolls, and so I don't know if I've no knowledge of what kind of hair they use nowadays.
Yeah. So okay. So I was going to ask you along those lines, what you think of the Takaras and the ADGs? Because I've seen you.
These two?
I'm sure I read somewhere that you said the only way to redeem an ADG is to turn it into a custom.
I know that's an extreme comment. I've seen a few. I wouldn't say quite a few, but I've seen a few ADGs that they were, worked on, not as Afro Blythes, but had their eyes boggled and new makeup, and they look pretty cute. But ADGs are it's a mistake. Really.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is. I mean, I think they tried, but they didn't quite make it. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been doing sort of comparisons of Takara and ADG heads and the skin tones and things like that, and it's really interesting to sort of compare. The ADG seemed quite pink compared to Takara seems quite yellow to me.
Which ADG did you use for comparison? One of the latest ones or one of the early ones?
Probably, I think it was a redhead.
Oh, one of the earliest ones. Well, I don't know. They sort of seem green to me.
Do they? Yeah, I've heard other people say that they seemed green to them.
I think there might be different batches out there.
Well, that could be true too.
Yeah, I mean, mine were green.
Right.
That's why she ended up being my first black Blythe. Actually, no, my second. The first one is La Tacarel. Tess has her.
They're both gorgeous. I love them. The black Blythes that you've done. I know a lot of people were wondering. You don't have to give away this secret, but which which body you used for the last afro that you sold?
The very last one, the one with the sleep eyes.
Yeah.
She didn't have a head. I don't know what she was.
Oh, okay.
She was a random body. Yeah, I don't know what she was. I really want to find out. It was because she had the best skin tone.
And it was already black when you found her?
She was black, yeah.
Right.
She was a black. She had a black body, and she had a button on her back. And when she pressed it, she did this little dance.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Actually, I just heard from Regina, the girl who bought her, and she's really pleased with her, and I'm really relieved and happy to hear that.
I love your customs that you guys do.
Yeah, well, I think I only do black Blythes. We should distinguish that. I think Leonidas does the mohair reroutes, and I think we've done about 3 or 4 eBay customs so far. Mohair, Takara dolls.
Yeah.
He does those. I just do the black. I just do the black ones.
The other thing I love too in your auctions and just in general is your photography.
Yeah, well, that's what dolls are for. Mostly just photograph and bring out their, make them come to life.
Yeah.
And photographs is the best medium for that.
Yeah, because I mean, I love the framing and everything. I actually have some filmmaking background, and just so things like the framing
Mm.
of your shots and everything it's really, really great. Love it.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, well, I might ask you, the girls on our board have
Mm.
asked some questions.
Mm-hmm.
So can I go through those?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okie dokie. Our first questions are from Ms. Polly. And she said...
Your doll?
No, actually. She's called... This is one of our members is called Ms. Polly. Her actual
Okay.
name's Jamie. She was asking, how many dolls, Blythe and others, do yourself and Leo own in total?
Right. I have about, I forget. Well, Blythe-wise, I have 3 Kenners, 3 Sakaras, and the prototype, and 3 Unas, and 1 Dado, as far as Blythe-type dolls. I think I have about 1,000
Wow.
random dolls, ranging from 16-inch Perfecta. You might see the Perfecta dolls at the Hey Little Girl site. 16-inch Perfecta dolls to little kiddles.
Oh, yeah, Kiddles, yeah.
From little kiddles to, all in all, I have about 1,000.
Wow. That's
They
huge.
don't look so many, but they are about that many.
Okay, next question. Another one from Ms. Polly. She said, "What is a day in the life of Mary Collins like?"
um, she spends most of her time, with me, wherever I go. If I'm at home, she's right beside my laptop. She's right next to me right now. Actually, all of them are, all the Blythes. I don't know. She does her hair a lot. She spends time with her hair, and she likes to find the best places. The best windy places for her hair to fly in, and she's a hair girl.
And I was reading, is this right, that she's had 4 reroutes?
Yes, I think so. Actually, yeah, I bought her. She was a wreck. She was bald, and then Melissa from PucciMadam.com did her first human hair reroute, and then after that, Leo did another human hair reroute, and then he did a couple of more hair reroutes on her. He hates me for that. He loathes me for that. He doesn't want to hear the name Mary Collins. Whenever I mention her, he cringes.
So
He's like, "Oh no, it's not quite right. Oh no, I'm bored with this one. Do another." And he's been such a sweetheart. He's done wonders on Mary Collins.
So when she's been rerouted, what happens? Have you just chopped it all off and started again with the same scalp, or have you swapped scalps?
Yes.
Or...
Yes, it's one of the most damaged hair, Kenner scalps you'll find out there. I mean, it's pretty damaged. She doesn't look it maybe, but it's pretty damaged.
Yeah, because
There's glue residue and random holes everywhere.
Because I'd be a bit terrified. I mean, that's why I'd probably send mine off rather than do it myself, because the scalp, I mean, on mine anyway, because it's so old, and I don't know if it's rubber, but it just looks like if I touched it, it would just, fall apart.
No way. No.
No?
Kenners are very durable. Very durable. I mean, you have to really try. Maybe I should rephrase that, but you have to be really rotten to... Yeah, you have to do it on purpose to damage a Kenner, really. Really, I mean, it's... you can take a Kenner with you in the bathtub, and the eyelashes won't fall off.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the makeup won't come off, and you can you could do all sorts of things with Kenners that you cannot do with Takaras.
Mm.
They don't scratch as much. They don't scratch as easily.
Right.
I don't know, and they are in many ways superior to Takaras. I mean, durability-wise.
Mm. To have lasted this long anyway, I mean, any toy really, to have lasted that long, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Well, let's see what Takaras do over the next 30 years. If
Yeah.
they're alive and kicking it.
It's interesting,
We'll
I
see
mean,
how their age.
it's kind of a sidetrack, but I mean, it's interesting to me that the first kind of the BLs now have become so valuable, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like a new toy line starting, and then the first generation of them always is kind of become, it wasn't originally nostalgic, but then the Kenners were the very first ones, so now they're super expensive, and then the BLs are the next kind of oldest, and now they're expensive.
They're almost retro.
Mm.
I think it's people rushing too much. I think it's funny. A cozy can fetch $600 nowadays easily.
Cozies
Yes,
are very popular, aren't they? It's interesting.
Yeah, well, it has to do with them being discontinued and being really different to the Takaras that are being made nowadays. They have a real childlike look to them, quite innocent compared to the superiors. And of course, it's also quite a bit of hype involved. Having a cozy and there were so few of them made, and she's so rare, and hype has lots to do with it.
Yeah.
I think.
It's
Love cozies.
You love cozy?
Yeah, I love cozy.
Okay, I've got another question for you. This one is from Oink, and she would like to know what your full-time job is, but I think we covered that.
I'm an actor.
And what do you think of Australia?
I don't know. I've never been. I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday about Australia, and I saw a map the other day. I don't know where I saw it. It was a map of the Earth, and it depicted the continents in which people are most happy.
Oh yeah.
And Australia was among the most, Australia was top 3 or something. It was Australians are supposed to be among the most happy people on Earth. And I was just discussing that with a friend of mine. I was talking about that with a friend of mine yesterday, and we thought it was really strange and quite envious. I mean, Greece was like in the middle. It's like melancholy or depressed or something.
Maybe we're just... it's interesting, isn't it? Because Australia's got such a mixed background that it's sort of, it's interesting.
I don't know, whenever I had to deal with an Australian buyer or seller on eBay, it was always super perfect. Excellent, wonderful people. I mean, I was just thinking about that over the last few days, because I just randomly bought a couple of things from Australia, just a couple of DVDs or something, and it just reminded me that whenever I buy something from an Australian seller, or when I sell something to Australia, it's always super nice. So I don't know. I think there's something there. Maybe you are one of the happy people on Earth.
Maybe we're just one of the most deluded countries on Earth.
Well, ignorance is bliss.
Maybe we just like to pretend we're really, really happy so that we try and make everyone else jealous.
I don't know. I think pretending is sometimes just as good as being.
Okay, I don't know if you'll answer this question, but she was also interested in any of your secrets on restoring Kenners. You don't have to tell us secrets.
this really, it's not really a secret. It's just common sense, and a few tools, basically.
Mm.
Um,
And bravery, like you were saying, I think a lot of people are afraid to sort of do anything with their kennels because in case they do something, wrong to them.
um, as far as bravery, I think it's maybe not the right word. I think it's just having fun with a toy.
Yeah.
And actually, you can pretty much restore any Kenner in any shape, pretty much. I mean, there's always exceptions, but most things you can repair on a Blythe. So you can never really. I mean, it's really hard to go wrong on a Kenner
Yeah.
while trying to restore her. And it's basically just loving the doll, just loving the doll.
Yeah, that's
If you love her, you'll do nice things to her, and you you'll help her out where she needs it.
I mean, it's interesting too that you're saying that because I mean, it sounds a bit. I don't want to sound like I'm a crazy doll lady, but
I'm a crazy doll person. Go ahead.
but what I do is when I'm customizing, if it's especially if it's a custom doll I'm planning to sell, I won't work on it unless I'm in a good mood and feel happy because
Same here.
I want it to when I sell it, I want it to be full of happiness. So
Exactly. I completely 100% identify with that. Yeah, that's why I take forever to do anything because I'm hardly ever in a good mood. So it takes forever for me to do. I'm actually working on a black Blythe now, and she's halfway done. I think it's gonna take another couple of months at least for it to be. And I actually like to take my time with these things because I don't want to rush into making any decisions as far as hair and eyes and everything. I just want to sort of have like a dialogue with the doll, like what's good for this particular doll, and it takes time for it to sort of become clear.
yeah.
That's crazy doll. That's crazy doll person talk. So
No, but I agree with that too, because I mean, sometimes I'd be interested to know from your point of view too, sort of the process you go through when you are thinking of a new custom.
I just do black Blythes. I have to say that.
Yeah,
Leo
yeah,
does all the others,
yeah. But I mean,
the spectacular ones.
the black. I think yours are spectacular.
Mine are just brown. Go
No,
on.
but I mean, they've all been quite different. I mean, I think the one that you're working on now, the one that's on your Flickr with the pull-up wig in the picture. Is
Well,
that...
she doesn't have that pulley wick anymore. That's the one.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting because for me, I'm a bit like that. When I'm making them, there's a point at which they seem to suddenly come to life, and I mean, not that they didn't seem like that before, but it's just something about them. They suddenly have a personality, and
Yes,
that's unique for that doll.
Yeah, exactly. And that takes time, I think. For the doll to tell you what she really is like. So, I mean, right now, this black custom has a mohair wig on, so I don't know what'll happen to her. How she's gonna turn out. But she has a changing eye mechanism. I think I might change that. I don't know. I think I hate doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
On on any level in my life and my doll.
I noticed with your last Afro Blythe that you sold on eBay that someone asked you, they said if they got it that they would change the eye mechanism, and I noticed that you said, I'd rather it didn't change, I'd rather that you left it the way I made it.
I was gonna say something else, but then I rephrased it before I hit reply. I said, don't even think of bidding on my doll, you motherfucker. So I changed it. I changed it to, maybe you should, I don't know what I said. Anyway, I think I blocked that person from bidding.
Did you?
But, yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, because it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you obviously chose the eye mechanism that you did in that doll for a reason.
Yeah, those were my favorite eyes forever. I've had those eyes 3 years and I didn't use them on a doll. So I really wanted to use them on a black Blythe because of the contrast of the skin. The eyes really, pop out. They're really strange vintage glass eyes, and they're really beautiful.
Wow. So they were vintage eyes as well. That's very cool.
They're vintage.
Wow. Let me just see. Who else have we got here? Oh, okay. I've got another question for you. From Dollzilla. And she said, have you ever considered creating your own doll line?
Yeah, many times. Many times, but I'm just not. Maybe I'm not into dolls as much because you really need to apply yourself. You really need to invest your whole life for a couple of years, your whole life into making a doll. It's so difficult because I looked into it, and firstly, I mean, it's so expensive getting the prototypes done, finding sculptors, and then getting the molds done. And depending on what sort of material you use, it can be super expensive to not as expensive, but not as good in quality. And then it's super complicated. And then getting in touch with working with factories in China, because you have to make it in China.
Right.
And then that's so difficult. I mean, I'm super picky with things, and I couldn't really bear the whole process of sending prototypes back and forth. And actually, the only time I ever came close to producing something of my own for the mainstream market was when, Una?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Una first came out, the lady who makes her, Soji, she approached me about making my own Yatabazah Una, designing the clothes and the hair. At the time, I had a Blythe clothes store online. It was cutieboingboutique.com. It was ages ago. It's not on anymore. Anyway, I was really super busy at work at the time. I was doing a film, and I was doing 2 films and a play at the same time, so I couldn't really do that. And then it sort of fizzled out. So yeah, that's it. I'd be most interested in making a doll if I had full quality control over it. Like maybe, make her sort of overlook all aspects of her making myself, and that's really difficult. And that's only that's only possible with handmade dolls, really. And that would be resin as a material. Just resin dolls.
Right.
Resin is just a form of plastic that's like hard as porcelain.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, I can imagine that it would be a huge job to create a doll.
Huge. Yeah. That's super fun. If you have an idea that you're really passionate about, then it's great.
And you mentioned about the clothes, and that's another thing that that's fantastic. Do you make the clothes that have been sold recently from Hey Little Girl? Or
No. Leo does.
Leo's? Yep.
Yeah, those are all Leos.
They're very good.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Very cute.
They're amazing. Actually, I really love them. Actually, I would love to bid on those auctions myself. I know it would look really nasty if I did. So I'm trying to keep away. And he doesn't make duplicates, so it's a disaster. I mean, I can never have that.
Yeah,
I would pay just as much for those.
Does that ever happen, that you want stuff that each other have made? That
yes.
You're going to sell?
Well, it happened with... Yeah, actually, it happens more with me wanting Leo's clothes more than with anything else. He doesn't want a black Blythe, so exchange one for the other.
Yeah, do a trade.
And, he does wonderful reroots for me, and I don't know. I don't think I give anything in return.
Love.
Love.
Okay, another question from Dolzilla. What type of camera do you use?
Let me see. It's right here. It is a Sony CyberShot 5.0 megapixels. The model is DSC dash F717. That's the one.
There you go.
DSC F717. It's a great camera.
Cool. And one more from her, from Dolzilla. She said, "Where do you get your inspiration?"
Vintage stuff, vintage living, vintage advertisements, vintage lifestyle. I don't know. My eye is always, on those things.
Yeah.
Retro.
Yeah, I noticed, I think it might have been in Flickr, 'cause I sound like a stalker, don't I?
No, I mean, we all
Every
stalk each other's
single-
Flickr.
Every single photo. I noticed your vintage sideboard that you had, and because I've got a lot of sort of, I don't know what it is, sort of 60s, I suppose, furniture, and
At home?
I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I love it too. It's so hard to find in Greece, actually. And when you do find it, it's super expensive. It's really different in Australia and America.
Yeah.
You guys are much luckier. Yeah.
It is. It's interesting here because it's not considered an antique, and it's sort of something that to old people it's kind of like IKEA. Do you have IKEA over there? Kind of. So you know what I mean. To old people, it's like, oh, this is just IKEA crap. We don't want this anymore. And they put it out on the street.
Please don't. Please don't want it. I'll have it.
Because we have it's something, I think it's unique to Australia because I know in other countries it's kind of taboo, but when people put stuff out on the street for collections, like they have a collection time and you put everything out on the street you don't want, well, for us here it's quite okay to go and collect stuff from other people's piles.
Yeah, even if it's not furniture, even if it's just...
Anything.
You just mean furniture. Really?
Anything.
Going through garbage tins and...
Well, kind of not rubbish, not sort of food.
Not the rubbish. I understand, yeah.
But you know what I mean, like
too.
furniture, yeah. Or I don't know.
It's hardly ever that you'll find something, worth breaking your back for.
How good was that? Great interview with Thanos. He's so funny to talk to and loves Blythe, as you can tell. Thank you very much for listening. This is the end of our little broadcast. But if you have anything you'd like to comment on, you can email us at podcast@addictedtoplastic.com. And as we like to say, share the plastic love. Bye!